For decades, the US dollar has been the kingpin of global finance, dictating terms across international borders. But now, the BRICS nations are shaking things up. With a new Intrabank system and threats of 100% tariffs from the US, they are pushing back against American dominance. If successful, this could significantly alter the financial landscape, potentially replacing over $2 trillion in transactions that currently rely on US-dominated systems. This isn't just a financial shift, it's a major geopolitical move that could change the world order. Before continuing, please consider subscribing to the channel, as it really helps a small channel like ours go a long way. Throughout the past decade, BRICS countries, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have attracted attention on the international scene. These countries are referred to as the developing markets not only because of their growth economically, but also politically. They have begun to take on the Western financial systems led by the US and its dollar. Why? Simply put, they wish to be in control of their economic future. In order to understand the strategic interests behind BRICS, such measures, let's go back to the year 1944 during the Bretton Woods Conference. This was where the blueprint for the global economy's reconstruction after the Second World War was drawn, and institutions such as the IMF and the World Bank were born. These were supposed to serve as the backbone of the global economy by lending to countries in distress, fixing exchange rates, and promoting international relations. But when we consider the recap of events in the preceding years, it is apparent that such framework did not really evolve. These institutions still have a governance structure and leadership that is dominated by the advanced economies, and the US in particular. The voting power within these organizations is determined by quotas, meaning the wealthier nations have more say. The US, with its strong financial footprint, holds veto power over major decisions. This has led to a situation where policies imposed by these institutions often reflect the interests of the West more than those of the developing world. One major contributor to this imbalance is how the United States dollar is the central currency used for international transactions and held in reserves. The dollar is not just a medium of exchange, but it is an irreplaceable heart of international commerce and finances. It accounts for about 90% of transactions between countries. Being in total control means that such power rests entirely with the US. The center can, without flinching, print dollars to close its gaps, a practice that economists refer to as the exorbitant privilege. The downside is that such benefits come with responsibilities, and any adjustments in US policy, such as altering interest rates, could unleash a chain reaction in the global economy, fanning the flames of currency depreciation and economic recessions in dollar-centered nations. Emerging economies are at risk of sanctions and economic warfare because of the dominance of the US dollar. When the US wants to issue a warning to a country, it simply cuts off all relations with them in the financial markets. This can be done by removing the respective countries from SWIFT, the most widely used international banking messaging system. The impact of this was felt when Russia was banned from using the US dollar after engaging in warfare against Ukraine. This not only sent Russia into an economic spiral, but also showed other countries a glimpse of what would happen if they acted out. After being excluded from the SWIFT network in 2022, Russia turned to its own financial messaging system, SPFS, in collaboration with Iran. This has allowed for direct transactions in national currencies, bypassing the dollar altogether. This move has had significant financial implications. Over 60% of bilateral trade between Russia and Iran is now settled in their local currencies, reducing dependence on the dollar by around $4.6 billion annually. If this trend spreads among other BRICS members and the wider global south, the impact could be substantial, potentially cutting the US's influence over $1 trillion in global transactions each year. It is clear that BRICS nations have had enough of US dollar supremacy over the world. They have had enough of being played around by the United States and its foreign policies. As a reaction, they have begun constructing a framework for alternatives. Initiatives like the BRICS New Development Bank, NDB, and the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, AIIB, aim to provide development financing without the political strings attached. Since its inception in 2015, the NDB has approved 98 infrastructure and sustainable development projects, totaling approximately $33 billion. These projects span sectors such as clean energy, transport, and digital infrastructure, emphasizing sustainability and growth in the global south. But the true breakthrough lies in the financial realm. The BRICS countries are attempting to establish an alternative international payment system. This, among other things, is due to the weaponization of SWIFT and the US dollar. They're creating systems in which a member state can sell directly to another member state in their own currencies. This is not only an issue of practicality, it is a question of economic independence. Lowering the dependency on the dollar makes it possible for BRICS to protect themselves from US sanctions and financial turbulence. For example, China's cross-border interbank payment system, CIPS, is one such initiative. It's designed to handle international payments in yuan, bypassing the dollar altogether. The most ambitious step yet is the development of an intrabank payment system among BRICS nations. The need for exchanges and dollars will thus greatly be eliminated. Take, for example, a trade exchange between Brazil and China. It means no US dollars, no SWIFT, only China and Brazilian currency exchanges. This not only reduces transaction costs, but also shields these countries from the volatility of global currency markets. These conversations were deepened in August 2024 when technical working groups of BRICS commenced discussions regarding a framework of how a unified digital payment system will work. The aim is to increase cross-border payments efficiency by making it easy for countries to communicate with one another through their respective financial messaging systems, with the expectation of developing a BRICS system and thus limiting reliance on SWIFT. This is not just for the purpose of efficiency. This involves a more tactical aspect. By putting these systems in place, the BRICS can work in isolation, regardless of how the world politics may swing. Of course, the US wasn't going to sit silently on all of this. Enter Donald Trump, the upcoming president of USA. Trump came out with a strong warning against BRICS nations. He announced that if they attempted to decrease the importance of the dollar, then every attempt would be made to place a 100% levy on goods coming in from these countries. This was not simply a threat, it was a signal. The US was not going to twiddle its thumbs whilst the rest of the countries slowly chipped away at its dominance in the global financial sphere. His statements also demonstrated the worrying politics surrounding these economic innovations. The BRICS were being warned here. Cross this line and it is at your own risk. The critics of this approach believe that these threats may boomerang. They see Trump's comments as an act of desperation in trying to hold on to what is now an outdated system. In turn, there are countries like Russia and China who have voiced their discontent, with Russia's Dmitry Peskov referring to Trump's style as a self-fulfilling prophecy. He cautioned that in attempting to force countries into the dollar's embrace, the US may bring about the opposite reaction effect. Countries start looking to move away from it faster than anticipated. The trajectory is clear. BRICS is not only about commerce, it is also about the reconfiguration of international finance. The attempts towards both an intrabank system and trade paid in local currencies and direct trade agreements are all components towards a more multipolar order. This isn't only about economic capital, it's about political strength. The BRICS countries are determined to establish a world where one nation or one monetary system does not dictate the rest. The BRICS countries also have reason, beyond economics, to come together and change international relations. Their growth and the accession of other countries such as Argentina, Iran, and Turkey into BRICS are not merely about economic approaches. They are about creating a competing force against the West. So, what's next? Will BRICS countries be successful in countering the mighty US dollar, or will the dollar continue its run as the leading currency? Let us know in the comments section below and make sure to like the video. Thanks for watching.